So our next guest, a lovely, lovely human being.
Incredible.
And I would like you to do the honors, if you would.
I would love to. This lovely woman bought all of us ladies who are here this weekend these shirts because she's so nice like that. But she's not just nice, she's also very, very fierce. She's all of these packed in one. And she's very special to me because I brought her back from the dead. Which is always a good gift to give the guy that you used to have a really big crush on, but now you're kind of like, hey, we're pals, thanks for reuniting me with my brother, we're gonna like jet off into outer space, and oh, by the way, I have something for you. Okay, here you go, bye. So, without further ado, I would like to bring out Samantha Smith!
Don't call it a comeback! Mama said knock you out. I'm gonna knock you out. Mama said knock you out. I'm gonna knock you out.
Thank you. Look at these shoes! This is incredible! What? What? Can you guys see these? Wow, you have magical powers. I do. I'm just being really cool. Alright, have fun. Bye. Bye. Hello. Look at all you people. I'm nothing if not graceful. Aww.
Hear you roar.
Hear me roar. Girls' Weekend. That's right. Hey, how's it been going? Sunday? All you Sunday people? I know. Well, you know I'm from Jersey, right?
What exit?
172. It barely qualifies. So, who here is from Jersey? Okay, so I may date myself here a little bit, but when I was in school, you fell into one of two categories. You either Bon Jovi or Bruce. Okay, so it's more Bon Jovi. Or was that Bruce? Or was that Boo? Oh, okay. It's like, wow, that's harsh. Poor Bruce. I was Bon Jovi, big hair, Trans Am. Still am. Actually, I was a Firebird. So yeah, I'm so excited to be here, and I hope we have some, I can't see a thing, but I'm hoping we have some super challenging questions. Where should we start? I can't tell. Somebody wave really big so I can see which way. Over here, okay.
Hi. I wanted to know, what do you think how Mary would feel if she came back and John Winchester was waiting for her?
You mean had he still been alive?
Yeah.
Well, I think conflicted. Like super happy, but at the same time like, now you did what now? Did we not, my guess is though, I've always said, well, he knew that's not what I wanted, and I'm guessing he actually didn't, because I don't think he knew I was a hunter. So, as with many husbands and wives, the men are supposed to just know. Am I wrong? Yeah. So he'd still be in trouble. But yes, I think living would have been nice.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi. Did it feel weird coming back on the show after a decade?
Well, it had only been 5 years, actually. But since I was living, yes. Yes, and I had no idea how that was going to go. Was I going to be like new, like post-Hunter Mary? Or was I going to go back to, because season 4, I'm watching and Mary, Amy Goodman comes up as Mary, and I'm like,
watching like everyone else. I'm like, oh, they did a really good job casting her. You know, she's phenomenal. But in any case, and then she starts punching people, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know. So when they brought me back, I was like, am I going to be like Cookie and vacuuming the bunker, or am I going to be fighting? And I guess we know which way that went. Not so much with the cookies, but it was strange. Can someone have a word with him, please? So yeah, I mean, it was strange. I'd been on the show enough over the years to not feel like a stranger, and they're the nicest people on the planet, from every member, cast, crew, everyone. But I have to be honest, it was hard for me as an actor to find my footing, as it was for Mary to find her footing as she's back in land, because a lot of times you can like get into a character and then that's your character. Mary kept changing, like every week it was something new. It was like, you know, being alive for one, that was a big change. And then having shoes, that was a big change. And real clothes. And then, you know, feeling alienated, and then working with the British Men of Letters. And then coming back, and then being brainwashed. I mean, like, it was always something. So it was a journey.
All right.
We got to go on together. So a little surprised, but mostly just like, oh!
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi. If you had the chance to change one script and undo something that Mary Winchester had done in any season, what would you undo and what would you do instead?
I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that you have an idea. Yes?
Well, I wouldn't have worked with the Men of Letters behind my son's back.
Ouch. She had reasons, damn it. So, as Mary, I wouldn't take that back.
No.
Because, I mean, hindsight is 20/20, but, and I know good intentions and all that, but they did kill a lot of bad things. I think that it would have been nice had Mary known a little bit. Had she not been lied to and stuff? Like, I don't think it was her fault. Like, what she was presented seemed too good to be true, but the results were tangible. Let's see, what would I do differently? Not die? Yeah, that would have been helpful. I could have done without the burning. It was fun for a second. He had really good bourbon and a Bentley. I'm trying to think. I don't think making the deal was the wrong choice. Oh, they're like, oh no. Because John would have been dead, there would be no boys, so hello. I don't know. I think I would have chosen a different color car.
Okay. Thank you.
Super deep, right? Hi.
Hi. I just wanted to say I was really happy to have you back this
Thank
season.
you.
You're awesome.
Thank you.
My question is, in that scene where you know you're not looking at Dean and he's saying like I love you, I hate you, and like that very emotional scene that was hard to watch. I just want to know like your thought process that you're going through. Like I feel like I would break out into laughter, or I would break out and, you know, I would lose it, and you and Jensen held it together, and I just love that scene. Can you just talk about that, please?
Sure. Well, first of all, and I'm saying this with 100% sincerity, like, that was 100% Jason. Jensen. I really had to just kind of keep a straight face, and he did it all. But what was going through my mind was the character's thoughts, which were, don't listen to this, you're happy here. And yet you know when you hear that voice going, hey, this isn't okay, you need to pay attention to what they're saying. You're like, no, I'm not, I'm good, I'm fine, I'm good. So it was that inner struggle for me that I focused on while I'm hearing all these things coming at me. And then, you know, it's from somebody that Mary loves. So it was conflict. It was just conflict. And trying to hold it together and then not. So it's like holding on really tight and then just going, So it was a long day. But it seemed to serve its purpose.
It definitely did. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi. I was just wondering, was Mary Campbell always supposed to be a hunter, or was that something that they decided later on in the seasons?
Well, as I said, like I had no idea. I was like really nice mom in a pink nightgown for 4 seasons, and then I see you.
I closed my eyes. You weren't supposed to see me.
So when I saw the episode where it was discovered she was a hunter, I was like, oh, yeah, now this makes sense.
I had the same reaction.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, this is awesome. She's caused a lot of problems, you know. But no, I loved it. I didn't know, and that's sort of the cool thing is all the surprises that have come along for my character, and I think all the characters really, even if they're painful, even if you don't like them, they're always well done, and they're always really a surprise. You do not see it coming. You're like, oh, I bet this is going to happen. Nope. It's always, they always outdo what you expect them to do. The writers.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Thank you.
Nice shoes.
Thank you. They're pink. Hi.
Hi, my name's Michelle. I just wanted to say that I'm very happy you came back.
Thank you.
I'm so glad because I thought they needed your character to come back to have some closure. But after all these deep questions, I'm going to ask you a shallow question. I loved the way they dressed Mary. I liked your wardrobe, and I wonder, like, did you have any pick at all? Or did they just bring it to you and you were like, this is fine?
No, Carrie, our costume designer, is a genius. And when I showed up for my first fitting, it was jeans and flannel and t-shirts, and I was like, Winchester by Lady Dean. And it was, I was really excited. And the only thing that changed is they had boots for me that were kind of like ladies' boots, like a little heel, not a high heel, but like lace up, like nice. And I was like, how about Timberlands? And she's like, okay. And she was like, no, she was actually totally down with it. And then after the first week, they were really, really hot because they had fur in them or something. And so I was like, you know what would be best? Motorcycle boots. And she's like, okay. And I'm like, and then she got me my favorite boots I've ever had in my life that I wear every episode. Unless we're in the snow. And then I'm like, can I have those furry ones back? But it's evolved over time, and it's just been lots of layers, and I have never been happier in my life. Like, a lot of jobs, I'm a crying mom, other than different crying mom than on this show. Like, I'm in a suit, I'm a lawyer, I've got some rich husband I've murdered. And it's always like, don't sit down, you're gonna wrinkle your silk pants, or you're in a dress, or here's your stockings. I'm like, and every day I'm like, I eat my lunch in my wardrobe, I'm like, I'm wrinkled. And nobody cares. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do after this role. Like, what else can I do? Like, this is the most fun I've ever had. Like, it's a dream role, even if you all don't like her sometimes. I don't care, I really like her. And I'm not really sure. They've ruined me forever for everything else. So we'll see.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Where have you two been? Oh, all right. I get it. Hi.
Hi, how are you? My question is, do you yourself feel that Mary and Sam should have had way more intimate scenes as mother and son, considering the fact that he never got to know Mary at all? Aside from that scene where he brings, Mary tea in the bunker, I felt like that was the most best intimate scene ever, but do you yourself feel like there should have been more of those between you and Sam?
Well, is that a dinosaur or a gopher? What is that?
T-Rex.
It's a T-Rex. It's a prehistoric gopher. It's hilarious. Sorry, I'm listening to you. I just was like... I think the assumption is that there were more of those, just not happening that we saw on the show. You know what I mean? Because I think that the relationship that Mary and Sam have by the end of the season has grown, but the truth is he never knew her, and he knows the idea of her, which, by the way, I'm thinking she didn't really live up to. Because Mary's image is perfect, ephemeral, angel mother, and here she is human with fears and mistakes and opinions of her own and perspectives and things that are maybe not what they expect. So I don't know how close an adult son is going to be to a mother he's never known in the course of 8 months. I think that there's room for that growth now, if she ever makes it out of the alternate universe. Otherwise, it's super hard. It's super expensive to call. Reception's really spotty. So, yeah, I mean, I think there's no question that the relationship with Dean was definitely the one that was focused upon, but it makes sense to me. That's the child she knew. When she left, Sam was a baby. Like, there's no, and he doesn't have any, I mean, I think he even says in the show sometimes, like, I wouldn't even know what she looks like if there weren't pictures. So, yeah. I'm glad you liked the one we got, though. And it's interesting, you're like, the one where he brought you tea, I'm like, and the journal.
And the journal, yeah.
And the journal.
You were sitting at the desk reviewing the journal, yeah.
Right. Because I forgot about the tea, I just remember the journal. So yeah.
Hello. I've got a two-part question for you. So we know everybody has their own heaven. We've seen
everyone what?
Has their own heaven.
Right.
So I'm curious what you think Mary's heaven actually looks like. Do you think it is that vacuuming and serving cookies with the family? Do you think it might look like something else? And what's your heaven look like?
Oh. Well, I think Mary's heaven is what we saw in that last episode, like baby Sam giving Dean peanut butter sandwiches and pretending that she baked pie. And just waiting for Daddy to come home. And I think that she lives in that loop. That's one of the first things Mary says when she came back was, yesterday I was in heaven with all of you, and now I'm here, and they're all gone. It's gonna make me cry. So that was her ideal, happy, like, because she didn't remember the deal with the demons, but she remembered she was a hunter. Like, she didn't forget about all that stuff. It's a red light. It's weird. And my heaven. It's not that different, but it's real for me. I'm at home with my family and like just chilling, and we're all sitting in the living room reading books and eating tacos. It's my happy place. Now, if that home happened to be in like Anguilla, that would be okay with me too. South of France. you know. But yeah, simple. There's something I have sort of learned through all my many years of life experience. That it's the simplest things for me. Like, I don't need everything to be great. I don't need everything to be like gangbusters. I just like status quo. Like, I'm healthy. I have good food. I'm with the people I love. The people I love are happy. Like, we have what we need. And that's like, it's like smooth sailing. Because sometimes, like, when you have too much, it's exciting, but it's a lot. And when you have too little, it's challenging, obviously, for many reasons. But yeah, just enough, just to chill.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, I just have a quick question. Who's your favorite son, Sam or Dean?
What'd you say?
Depends on the day.
Right.
That's what I tell my kids all the time.
Who bought me a present most recently? You know, in real life, I only have one child. And I don't know. Like, I have my suspicions that when you have more than one child, you as a mother may never admit it, but I think you probably have a favorite. I don't know. Or maybe you have things, you know, it would make sense to me that you have things that you like more about one than the, like, this one I love, I bond over this, and but this one, you bond over this. I don't know. But as far as like, I mean, if one of your children is a hellion, then they don't win. Unless you're also a hellion, or you like it. I don't know. So this is the long answer of I don't know.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I would never say if I did. You would never let me hear the end of it.
Hi. I just wanted to start off by saying that you guys are making this the best Sweet 16 present ever. So
Happy birthday!
I was wondering, what was it like filming the scene with Ketch where Mary almost killed herself? Like, did you feel the desperation in your character? Or, like, did you feel her sadness and stuff?
Oh, yeah, that was a rough day. It was despair. It was despair. It was loss of all hope that I have come this far, and that moment of, they cut a scene actually that I had with Tony Bevel, with Lizzie, where she brings in a tray of brandy, and she puts it down, and I reach over and I take a drink and I go, I don't drink brandy. She's like, now you do. And I was like, and that's when the wheels started clicking, like, what is happening? And so by the time they got to that, it was me realizing, like, I'm lost, and I'm going down this hole, and I'm gonna hurt people like I killed somebody, but like, so just living in that loop of despair and hopelessness, and it wasn't even sadness. It was beyond that, and it wasn't fear. It was I'd given up. Mary had given up. It's the only time in her life I think she ever gave up. And then, but I guess not fully, because she was able to, with a lot of fighting from Dean, pull out of it. She would have lived in there forever, I think.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Happy birthday.
Hi. I would quickly like to say, I think without you, I think there will be no show, aside from the Bridgman of Letters. Don't tell Mercury you said
I like that.
I think I personally admire your quiet resolve, and I think you're amazingly beautiful and talented and gifted. And we love seeing you on screen from time to time, and we hope to see more of you next season.
Me too.
And my question for you is very simple. If you had a free day all to yourself, what would you do and where would you go?
I'm laughing because it's so incredibly lame. I would organize my house. I'm like, find places things and throw shit out. Like, that would make me so happy. I just had a conversation with my husband. I'm like, baby, I need 2 days with no distractions. I'm like, look at all this stuff. I could alphabetize it. I could clean out my closet. I mean, like, I'm not the spa girl. I get there and I'm like, how much longer are we done? Like, I'm just not, like, I have like a little bit of OCD, wants to like get in there and like, what are all these papers? Let's do something with that. Like, that's my dream. Like, to have, I miss my family, but like 2 weeks, oh my God. So a whole day would be my dream.
I'm very good at cleaning too.
Oh, okay, good. Come on over.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey. Hi, Sam.
Hey.
So basically the series has been on for over a decade, essentially without you, except for a couple of episodes here and there. So I'm interested to see what it was like for you to come on for a whole season after 13
It was really different. I was tired. But amazing. Like, I was always, and people say this, like, you guys are a family, right? And you're a family to us, and we're also a family to each other, the set and the crew. Like, it's just, they're so welcoming and helpful, and there was a lot of stuff, like, even I've been acting a long time, there was stuff I didn't know. Like, what's that thing? They're like, that would be a light stand. Like, somehow I just, like, it was a different one than I was used to or whatever. But I had so much support. And when you come in just for a day or two, like, you come in, you keep your head down, you do your job, and leave, and you try to not cause any ripples. You know, you try to do the best you can, but not, like, it's not about you. And it still wasn't about me per se, but I felt like I was like more entrenched, and everybody helped me. Like, I have a wandering problem, so we'll be in a scene, and for some reason I'll just start, and the person's like, where are you going? And you'll see scenes, if you look carefully, you'll see me start, and you'll see one of them reach out and grab me and just kind of pull me back in. Or like that scene when Misha had the black stuff coming out of his mouth, we're all kneeling in front of him, and you'll see, I'm here, Jared's here, and you'll see his hand on my back, and he's just kind of going, getting me out of the light. He's like, just sit. And I'm just like, okay, thanks. So I had some help, but it was super fun. I loved every second. It was hard being away from my family in LA, but we made it work, and it was, it's as fun as everyone says. Like, it's just, we laugh and sometimes too much, and the assistant, the AD is like, people, but it's good. It's good. I can't wait to get back.
Thank you.
Did you see me hedge there for a second and be like, how can I say this? Hi.
Hi, I'm nervous, so I have to take it slow.
Yeah, take a deep breath.
So, your show is amazing. Amara bringing you back as a gift to Dean. Oh my God, and just all the different unique family relationships and how the roles. So, you know, Dean has a certain responsibility left from his dad. He has this unique relationship with you, and that's the one I want to ask about, the mother guilt. Mother guilt is this weird head thing, and you can't fix it, but you also want to. You want to make the pain of your child go away, and the anger, and it's the, Joe said it to me last night, a fellow fan over here, to be able to say, I love you, I hate you, Mom. Can you give us advice? Because Mary kicked ass, and she looks like she deals with being a mother and someone who roars out in the world.
Thank you. Well, I don't feel qualified to give advice. What I can say is that what I've observed from Mary is that she rationalized and made choices doing the best she could. I think that one of the main jobs as a mother isn't to do what you think they want you to do, it's what you think is best, even if it's unpopular. And your kids are going to hate you sometimes, and that's the way it goes, because you're not making decisions to their detriment. You're trying to do your best from your perspective. But the biggest part is being able to admit that maybe you made a mistake, or admit that you see how what you did, even though you felt it was best, hurt them. Like at the end when I'm like, listen, I know how this has gone, and I'm sorry. I was doing what I thought was best, but it hurt you, and I'm sorry. And I think that admitting you're wrong and having a conversation about it is the best thing you can do. So, and it allows you to maintain your strength, because you're not trying to then cover up what you're doing or like defend it. You're just like, dude, like, I'm human. I love you. You love me. Moving on. And hopefully everyone moves on together. I sort of feel like that's where Mary's at. She's like, I'm younger than you guys still. I'm trying. I'm learning. I'm still trying to figure out the internet. But it's all about honesty, I think. Yeah?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi. Hey, I was just wondering what your favorite scene was to play, either because it was fun or because it was extra challenging, or just something that made it stand out in your mind.
There were so many. I mean, the fighting scenes, it was tiring, but beating up Ketch for a whole day was fun. I really liked the scene in the episode 12, the one with like the Quentin Tarantino type one.
Oh yes, yeah.
And that scene at the diner table, we laughed a lot. That was super fun. And honestly, it's so dumb. There was no talking, but that slow motion walk.
That was very cool.
I watched that like 5 times. I'm like, ah!
That was like movie star cool.
Oh, I loved it. It was super fun. So it's when there's camaraderie like that, and we all get to like do that together. It was super fun for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I just want to say I love your character, and I thought you were phenomenal this year. You were one of the highlights of the season. And one thing you conveyed really well was all of the emotions Mary was feeling, and one of the predominant ones seemed to be guilt about Sam. You said that in the first or second episode. You said to Dean, how can I face Sam? In one of your last conversations, you said, can Sam forgive me? And one thing I thought was missing that should have been there was a scene between you and Sam in which you directly said it to him. I mean, Dean said he forgave you. Sam just said you don't need to worry about. But did you feel like a scene like that would have been appropriate closure even for you, with all the guilt you apparently felt about what had happened to Sam because of your deal?
Yeah, I think that I think that the audience would be happy to see that. In my mind, I have to decide, like, depending on where it goes, whether we've already had that conversation or not. Maybe after that scene when he's like, you don't have to be afraid of me. And I'm like, okay, but I still kind of feel bad about this thing, about, you know, the demon blood and all that. But what I will say is, it's not too late. It could still happen. You know, there's time.
That would be great. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Hi. First I want to say I love you, and I never thought I would get to talk to you, so this is really cool.
Oh, thank you.
I wanted to know, had Mary had more time with Sam and Dean, like if she hadn't, you know, burned to a crisp, do you think she would have been a helicopter mom?
No, I don't think she would have been a helicopter mom. I think she comes back to life, and the first thing she does is flip Dean on his face. Because I think that, you know, in those years, he was only like 4.5 or something, right? 5, and that Sam was a baby. So there wasn't a lot of conflict in their lives yet. But I think Mary's a fighter through and through. And anyone who's a parent knows, you get your kid into school and there's at least 10 kids you want to deck. because they're being mean to your kid. And I think she would have taught them to be fighters. She may have never told them she was a hunter, but she's not going to let them get pushed around. So she's going to teach them to fight their own battles. She would have. Yeah, I don't think there would be much helicoptering. She's too busy pretending she's cooking and going everywhere to get the food from the market.
Thank you.
Hi, I was wondering what your first impressions were of working with Jensen and Jared.
God, it was so long ago. I met them after the pilot. Like, we didn't film together because they were tiny little actors in the pilot. I met them in the screening, and then I came on that first season, and it was just, I think what made the impression was how lovely they were. And they still are. They're no different. They haven't changed at all. Like, just calm and supportive, and because there's a lot of times you go on a set and they are not nice. I'm sorry. It's just I don't know what the deal is, whether they are in their head about their work or whatever, but it's not always great. And that was, I think, one of the things I was like, wow, these boys are really nice and really talented. And that one little scene, when they told me I was going to come back after the pilot, I was like, okay, sure. You know I'm burning in the ceiling, right? Like, yeah, but you can be a ghost, you can be whatever. And I was like, okay, we'll see when that happens. And like 2 months later, I'm like, oh, okay. And then I read the scene, and I kid you not, this is like bratty actress. I'm like, I have 3 words. Like, what am I going to do with that? And then it has become, like, in retrospect, and even when I was doing it, one of my favorite scenes I've ever had. In Home, when the ghost in the house, do we know what I'm talking about? And just the presence and working with them was basically my first impression, and it was just so solid and awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you guys kind of like them too, you know, a little bit. Hello.
Hi. I first want to say I'm just so happy that this show seems to now be filled with strong, fierce, beautiful women who I won't say mature, but I will say who are out of their 20s. It's nice to see that.
Immature, I think is what you're saying.
You're gorgeous and in great shape and everything. I wanted to find out what your workout routine is and if it changed at all with the physicality of this season.
Yes. My workout routine is not hardcore. It's, 3 times a week, elliptical, some weights, balancing, stuff like that. Running after my child. With the show, they had me doing some fight training, and I haven't done so much of that lately, but I've started to try to do a little bit more of like some running, and I'll tell you why I started running. It had nothing to do with the show, even though they have me like sprinting and running in several scenes, and believe me, I feel it the next day. Not 20, like we were saying. So my son was playing on his school soccer team last spring, and they had a parents and teachers versus kids game. And I was like, I played soccer. I was on the All-Star traveling team. I'm gonna totally play. I show up, and they've started the game early, so they're already playing. Who does that? So they're already playing when I get there, and I'd been like sitting at my desk working for a couple hours. I drove 20 minutes to the school, so we're talking like 2.5 hours sitting. And I was going to try to get there even earlier to stretch, but didn't get to do that. So I went right out on the field, and I'm, playing defense like I always did. And somebody kicked the ball over my head, right? And I'm like, oh, and then they kick it back, and I turn. I've been on the field like 30 seconds. I turn to do like that burst, anyone who plays soccer knows, like it's a lot of this. And I go to run, I get 2 steps, and like my legs aren't coming. And I wiped out, like I think my knee is still messed up. My legs were like, no. And and I just went down because I've been in shape. I do elliptical, but you never move your feet off the pedals. So like, my body's like, running, wait. I remember there used to be something about running. And two of the other dads had to come help me up. And my son is like, what are you doing? You're embarrassing me. I'm like, dude, I fell. He's like, why? What, your legs just not work? I'm like, all right, so the next day, I went to the gym and started running on the treadmill. I was like, we need to work on that. So there's a little bit of that in there now, too. This is embarrassing, but true. Skip down the sidewalk, run for no reason. It keeps you young and keeps you from falling down when you play soccer.
No, it doesn't.
Hi, Sam.
Hey.
So there is this moment that happens between Mary and Jody.
Jody.
Yeah. There's this moment where, we've seen Jody kind of step into this not so motherly role, but a motherly role to Sam and Dean. And with Mary coming back, I was curious as to your thoughts. Was there a little bit of jealousy from Mary that Jody had kind of already stepped up to act as a mother in a way, or do you think that Mary was more relieved that there was someone there?
Oh, relieved. I don't think there was any jealousy at all. I think that, and I don't think she was threatened. I mean, that has actually been my thought ever since Mary's been back to life, and she'd feel the same way towards Bobby Singer. Like, thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Like, she might be a little mad at Bobby, like she's, mad at John. Like, dude, really? But Jody did nothing but help. And while when she was brainwashed, she wasn't so nice to Jody and sort of played that, like, oh, whatever, you be their mom, that's fine. Like, that wasn't sincere to Mary. That was just mean Mary. Yeah, so I don't think so.
Well,
I think Jody and Mary will be besties at some point. That's what I think.
Thank you so much.
And Donna, of course. Hello. I'm gonna be tucking my shirt while you talk.
Hi, Samantha. How are you? Thank you so much for being here. I'm a huge fan. I just wanted to ask you, because in the new season, in the alternative world, they seem to be bringing back characters that are not dead. I'm hoping John is one of them. And my question is, how do you think Mary's going to react to seeing John in this alternative world, should he come back, John, for this season?
Well, that would have to be purely hypothetical, because in the alternate universe, Mary never made the deal, so the John in that universe died. So that
Wait, what?
Okay, so, oh my god, I know something more than you guys! Okay, so if you go back, you'll see, the Mary and John, Mary Campbell and John Winchester, in the alternate universe, okay, you follow?
Right.
How there's both, like, there's a Bobby Singer there and there's a Bobby Singer here. The Bobby Singer here died, the Bobby Singer there did not, right? Right? In the alternate universe, Mary Campbell never made the deal with the demon, so John stayed dead. There was no Sam and Dean, and that's why it had an apocalypse, because they weren't there to save it. So Mary died, the Mary in the apocalypse world, what?
Dreams are crushing. Now because I was hoping John would come back into the new season not dead.
Oh,
so,
I'm sorry, and I'm not making a spoiler. They did it. Not me. The Mary Campbell in the otherwise I would run into myself. She's dead too. She went after the yellow-eyed demon and he killed her 10 years ago.
Right.
So now I'm the only Mary in both universes, the new one. I'm sorry.
That's okay, thank you.
But I'm sure she'd be happy if he were.
She would be. I was hoping.
What?
I said she would be.
She would be. She would be.
Thank you.
Well, now you don't have to wish for, now you'll know. Now you're prepared.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Did anybody know that? Yeah? Okay. I was like, oh my god, am I making shit up? Like, what's happening? Okay.
Hi. What's your opinion on Catch?
My opinion is he's dead. Because I shot him in the face. He totally had it coming. I think he needed therapy. He was damaged, and I would say that Mary is the only person that ever got to him. And it's because she's awesome. I love Mary. Like, I can't help it. Like, just, there's a lot to love. A lot of people, not so much. Have you seen that, like, there's Tumblrs, like, Mary must die. She should never, what's dead should stay dead. I'm like, okay, Billy. Huh?
Hey, leave Moran out of it.
And I get it, people are mad, but I think, how boring would the show have been if Mary showed up and she's like, let's go, let's be a trio now for the entire season. Like, wait, I'm coming with you guys. I'll sit in the back, it's fine. I think that people would have been like, somebody please kill her, and I would have been like, please kill her. It wouldn't have been interesting. At least, you know, she made an impression. And people have opinions. Lots and lots and lots of opinions. I forgot the question. Is it over here? Is that person gone? Was that you?
Yeah, it was me. What was your opinion on Catch?
Oh, Catch.
That was the question.
Oh, I digress. He was naughty. He had, like I said, really nice car. I think he was damaged beyond fixing. He was, yeah. It's too bad. Those men of letters were very, very mean and naughty. But you know, they're all dead now. They had it coming. There's like creepy old men in England though that still have it coming, but I'm just not sure how we're gonna get there. The Impala is not a submarine, so we'll see. Maybe one day. Thank you. Hi.
Hi. My question is, given that you had the Men of Letters saved as the Hobbits in your phone, are you a fan of Lord of the Rings?
You know, I'm presuming Mary is, although, oh yeah, those books were out before she died. Sam is a gigantic fan of Tolkien. In fact, I don't have it anymore because I had a really bad accountant, and that's a different story. But my first corporation was named after something from Lord of the Rings. I had a company called Eldamar, which was the elf in heaven. I'm like kind of a crazy fan. Like, I'm a huge geek, in case you didn't know. Power nerd, right here. And I love all that stuff, the science fiction and Battlestar Galactica and all of anything with vampires and werewolves and spaceships and robots and magic and sorcerers, and my husband's like, would you stop? I'm like, I can't. So yeah, I mean, I don't think you should trust someone who doesn't like Lord of the Rings. Just saying. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Sam.
Hi.
So, we talked a lot about this whole weekend has been lots of awesome, powerful women, and Mary's in the other world right now. And we know that John didn't make it in the other world, but one person that we don't know of being now.
I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Perfectly fine.
Yeah, just a real quick announcement. My dear friend
Jeffrey Dean Morgan is right over here trying desperately to sign autographs as quick as he can. Really goes for the people in line. He has to be out of here in less than 30 minutes to catch his flight to go back and shoot this little show called Walking Dead. But in order for him to catch that flight, he is going to have to go through this line right here at lightning speed. So it's not his fault, but I'm like, listen, man, I love you. You got to get out of here. So he may not be able to hug every one of you guys, but please know he's going to do his best to get through everybody right now. So just if we could all facilitate that and help that out, we all want everybody to get their autograph, and I want everybody to meet him because he's a lovely man. So we've got lightning round going on over here, and we've got heaven going on right here. So that's all. Thank you. Yes, one more thing. Because of his flight, he's not going to get up here and speak for the panel. So all the questions that you want to ask him, direct those to AMC. All right, thanks you guys.
The real reason Jeffrey's not coming up is because Mary has a word or two for him. Right? See, he's not even answering. Is that him right there? He loves all you guys. He's understandable. I know. She's gonna put us all in her pockets. Take her out. Take us home. So I'm sorry. He's way more entertaining than I am, but I can pretend. I know. Mary would totally do that, by the way. Not to him. That's a brutal weapon. Mary needs one of those. She doesn't have that ray gun anymore for those rougarous. It's true, Dean does have one. Where is he? I think it's in the Apollo? He hides the keys from me because he knows I will take it. It was mine first. Damn it. Oh well. I think my Dodge Charger could take it. Maybe.
Hi. Okay. Whoops.
I heard
Here.
Hi.
Okay. So, at one point, oh God. I just froze. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Take a breath. You good. You got it.
At one point, John escaped from hell, and his spirit rose up, and we all assume he went to heaven. So at that point, didn't he reunite with you? And then when they talk about heaven, it's like everybody has their own heaven. So for a while, you and John were reunited at heaven, but then all of a sudden you were grasped and brought back down to earth. How did you feel about that?
Really good.
You have your own.
Yeah, I have my own.
Hi guys. Hi Sunday people.
I'm sorry to interrupt. What were we talking about?
The truth is, my answer was going to be, I don't know.
Oh my God, that's such a good answer.
I know. Well, it's honest.
It's honest.
It's honest.
It's to the point.
Yes.
What was the question?
I think the question was John in heaven with Mary, and how did she feel when she got pulled out of heaven and had to leave all that? I'm going to just go with mad.
Mad?
Was it?
Mad? Oh, mad.
Yeah.
Because you two were having so much sex?
Yes. Probably. no burning.
No burning. No burning sensation.
No burning.
Okay.
Misha Collins, ladies and gentlemen.
So what's that?
Your voice a little higher.
So JDM has a plane to catch and is also a nice person, so he doesn't sign as fast as Mark Shepard. And so I'm gonna come up here for a little bit and serve as a surrogate. A poor substitute, but a substitute nonetheless. I was a little late today, so sorry about the trio photos that the schedule was screwed up. It was my fault. When I got in my taxi in New York, the GPS, I had an hour at that point to get here, and the GPS said 2 hours and 40 minutes. And I was like, Jen is not going to be excited about this. And my prediction was correct. She was not at all excited, and said things like, I hate you. So, yeah. New York traffic. It's not my fault.
Faster, probably.
It's New York's fault. So, wow, there's a lot of people here on Sunday. For those of you who weren't here yesterday, on Saturday, only the first 2 rows are filled. So this is weird. Does anyone want to ask a question from one of the wings? And you can feel free to change your question that was designed for Sam.
So you don't want to talk about how you feel about Adam, then? No? Okay. So Cass is currently not on the world. Do you think he ended up in the empty Billy talked about?
What?
So when Billy threatened Sam and Dean last time,
Yep.
she said she would tear their particles apart and throw them into the empty. And so I was wondering if that's where you think Cass is and how he's going to pull himself back together.
Okay, so this is awkward for me because I know where Cass is. So when you say, do you think, I'm not speculating, I know, but I can't tell you.
Well, make up something else and make it entertaining.
So, my question for you, Misha, is dance monkey. This is my favorite thing, talking about things that I'm not allowed to talk about. What's that? Did you just say?
Foreplay.
Did she say birthday or foreplay?
Word.
Where do you think Cass is? I'm going to turn it around on you. And what do you think it looks like?
I think you are all huge fans of the Socratic method.
That's true. It is true. Do you think that's true?
But do you think I think it's true?
I don't. Wait, was that just a double Socratic method that you employed? I can't handle it.
I don't know. What do you think? I think he's chilling with Gabriel.
Chilling with Gabriel?
Yeah.
So, in a weird way, I can actually say that that's true, and you're right. And when I say in a weird way, I mean in a weird way.
I'm okay with that.
Like some freaky shit that they're up to.
I'm still okay with that.
Yeah. Thank you. Go to the back of the line. Yes.
Going back and helping families. But as far as the wacky task goes, is there one task of a wacky sort that really just sings to you?
There are a couple of items. How many of you did or have done Gishwas? So there are a couple of items that stand out for me. One of them, and they're both early on, one was the very first submission that came in from the very first iteration of Gishwas. And the very first, so for those of you who don't know, Gishwas is like this weird scavenger hunt where I make people do things that are weird, humiliating, whatever. What's that? Borderline legal. And the very first submission that I got back in the very first year, at that point, they were coming to me in my email box, and it was the item was cover yourself completely head to toe in cotton candy, except for your face, which is covered in red lipstick. Now, what kind of if you'll pardon my expression, fucked up mind comes up with something like that? And it was this poor kid just standing in front of his bedroom closet, covered in pink cotton candy, head to toe, with a red face. And I opened this email and I just started laughing, and I couldn't stop laughing. It was absolutely magical. And I remember like showing Jared and Jensen in the makeup trailer the next morning. I was like, guys, I think I've hit on something here. Look at this poor kid. And then there's another one that stood out for me, which was we had an item that was use helium balloons to levitate a fully decorated Christmas tree. And there were these amazing videos of Christmas trees just floating away with helium balloons. And one of the most amazing things about that was that regional airports were closed due to, quote, Christmas trees in the airspace. Which is sort of a crowning achievement for me. Yeah. I also like kind of got the chills when NASA officially named a mountain on Mars Gishwas. That was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi. My name is Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
I just wanted to tell you, first of all, you're such an inspiration to me. Like the good work you do.
You mean like making people basically tar and feather themselves with cotton candy?
Yeah, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And also, I'm a parent too, and seeing you with your children and the kind of parent you seem to be is really inspiring to me. And I just wondered, your kids seem so happy and free to be themselves, but how do you find a line, between discipline and yet, letting them have fun?
You mean how hard do I hit my children?
Yes, exactly.
This is one of those things, like if you're like a quasi-public personality and you choose to showcase your family in it, or should I say, exploit your children, you're never gonna show the moments where you're like being a shitty parent, right? You're gonna be like, oh, aren't we the prototypical perfect family? Those are gonna be the images and videos that you share. So it's a really distorted perception that you have. Although I do not like the term discipline. I don't think it's helpful. I think just, we try to, we have this term, and I think it's like a modern child psychology term, which is modeling that we use. Like we try to model the behavior that we want our kids to emulate. And so, like when the kids are like, oh my God, this is totally, like recently my son said, oh my God, this is totally fucked up. And I was like, good on you, you learned that from me. I modeled that language. I got a text last night. Vicky and the kids went to a demolition derby, like a full-on sort of redneck demolition derby. And the text just said, Mason wanted me to send you this. And it was cars just smashing into each other. They're cars smashing into each other, and then the camera pans to Miles, who is Mason and West's close friend, crying because apparently he was terrified by the whole thing. And then Mason, my almost 5-year-old, just smiling, like ear-to-ear grin. And I couldn't tell if she was smiling because like it was so cool to see these cars crashing, or because Miles was crying right next to her. It was a very sweet moment. Proud of them.
I still think you're a good dad.
How old are your children?
My one child is now 22.
What's that?
My one child is now 22, and she studied acting and theater in college, and she's very inspired by you.
Wow. So are you still spanking her?
She was a really good kid.
Oh.
Did you just want the visual?
My peanut gallery here. My mom almost never hit me.
We never did.
And I was a pretty bad child, so it was like it took a lot of restraint from her. But there was one morning when she was dropping me off at school. I was 11. She was dropping me off at school, and I was being a little shit. And I said something, and she just slapped me across the face. And not too hard, but she slapped me. And by some miracle, it gave me a bloody nose. And I immediately jumped out of the car and ran into the school, and I was like, my mom hit me! It was awesome. Good talk. Okay.
Hi, Misha. Happy belated to Wes and happy birthday to Mason tomorrow.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask, what's your favorite pose when you're doing a photo op?
I don't know, Eiffel Tower?
Great. You killed Marilyn. You killed her. She's dead.
What's your favorite?
I think the sandwich photos are my favorite.
Yeah. My favorite actually is when it's like a duo or a trio that Jared is involved in, and someone says, squeeze me as hard as you can. And Jared gets this little glint in his eye, like, oh my God, I love breaking people's ribs. That's my favorite.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. First, I just want to say you are amazing. I love Skishwas. Thank you for making my parents think I'm insane.
You're welcome.
During Skishwas.
You're welcome.
My question's kind of stupid, but are your eyes really as blue as they are in pictures? Because, okay.
I make sure every photo that is taken of me is photoshopped.
Well, in the photo op, they didn't look that blue, and I was too nervous to actually look at your eyes. So I wasn't sure.
What?
They messed up my photo op.
It might be time for me to get new contacts. What color are your eyes?
Brown.
Are they really as brown as everyone says?
Not all the time, no.
No, sometimes they're
change.
more sort of tan. What are we talking about? Great. I remember once I said to my little sister Lizzie when she was little, like she was 7 or 8, I said, you have such pretty eyes. And she said very astutely, show me an ugly eye. All eyes are pretty. They're all pretty. That's the nature of eyes. Yeah. All right, good talk. Hi.
Hi, I was just wondering about Castiel. Like, you know, people have like different.
A lot of people wonder about him.
You know, like people have different weird things that they can do. Like, I can wiggle my pinky toes. Some people can wiggle their ears and stuff.
Yep.
What weird thing like that do you think Cass is able to do?
He has double jointed wings.
Thank you so much.
That he shows off sometimes in the barracks. Hey guys, look at this. And they're like, oh, that's gross, don't do that. It's disgusting. And he can do other things too. He's very flexible. Hi.
Hi, Misha.
Hi.
I'm Amy.
Hi, Amy.
First of all, I want to say I did Gishwas for the first time this year, and
I'm
thank
so sorry.
you.
Oh.
I made a lot of new friends, and it was just so much fun going sledding in the summer. I loved it, so thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And then my question is, if Castiel could make a guest appearance on any other TV show, what would it be, and what would he do on that TV show?
Yeah.
It would be Walking Dead, and he would be working at craft service. Wouldn't that be such an amazing cameo if, like, Cass was just a, like, zombie on Walking Dead? Like, trench coat, face falling off. Jeffrey Dean Morgan kills him.
I think you would be a most excellent zombie dude.
Yes. Are you done? Are you done signing?
I'm coming up to say hi.
Are they whisking you away? Ladies and gentlemen, the father of the supernatural fandom, Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
You guys are awesome, as usual. New Jersey in the house. I'm sweating my balls off. I just signed like 100 things in 5 minutes. How y'all doing? Thank you so much for having me out. It's always so good to get back with the Supernatural family and see all of you, of course. It's good. It's good. And I never seem to have time, which sucks, but man, these last 8 hours have been awesome. Well, thank you. You guys, again, have proven that Supernatural fans are a pretty special group of people, so thank you. Say what? Oh, you're very sweet. I mean, it probably could happen without me. They just would have been hired another actor. There have been another John Winchester. He would have sucked. Does anybody have any quick questions we can just kick ass on? I don't know how long I got. Somebody probably yank me up here quick, but... Say what? Something about Larry. Sorry, I don't know Larry. Sam Smith. Mary. The character's name is Mary, not Larry. Again, totally different show. You know, I only worked with Sam like a day, and she was like burning on the ceiling. I was supposed to do, obviously, a panel with her earlier today, and I was just thinking, shit, what do we have to talk about? Because I just saw you burn on the ceiling. That's my whole relationship with you. Well, yeah, I mean, anybody could be, and I could come back as John Winchester on Supernatural. That's the, yeah. You know, I'll tell you the same as I've told every audience in the last, it's been like, what, 11 years since I've been on the show? Is that right?
Yeah.
Holy smokes. I see you, I'm trying not to swear. That's amazing. For one, no shows last 13 years. And yeah, I mean, that's really a testament, not just to, you know, our boys up here, and it's really you guys, and to kind of be part of this family in a weird way as Papa Winchester. Some of y'all hate John Winchester. Some of you, oh yeah, you say that now, and then you're gonna go home and be on the internet going, that bastard. He screwed up his kid so bad. I know how it works. Signed anonymous. I can't remember what I was saying. Oh, that I'm going to come back. Yeah, that part. Before it's all said and done, and we talk about it all the time, and I've been saying it for years, that, you know, because it's the world of Supernatural, you obviously can come back, as proven by every actor that's ever been on the show. So I certainly hope that at some point, not only will John return in some capacity, and we'll get to kind of move this story and have some, I don't know, I think that Sam and Dean need to have some closure with this guy, and I think John would like the opportunity to have some closure, and I think you, the audience, deserves it. So, hey. And it could just be a whole new spin-off. Think about that. John comes back from the dead, and then the three of them embark on some crazy adventure, but not supernatural, more like they're gardeners or something. I gotta pitch that. Hey, Crippy, it's Morgan. Screw the supernatural thing. They got real green thumbs. Anybody else have a question? Yeah, shoot them up. All right, this is a very confusing question, and none of y'all know what she's saying, and me neither. Yeah, that little atom pump. Okay. It's something like, I was so consumed, John was so consumed by Mary's death that he became a little overly focused on fighting demons, and then somehow she worked Adam in there too. I know, but you... This is the longest fucking question ever. We'd like other people to have a chance today. Boy, it's just, you've got like 20 parts to that question. How much did you really love Mary if you had an affair?
We didn't have an affair. Yeah, she was dead.
Boy, did you get that? How dare you? He didn't have an affair. Stupid. He loved Mary a lot. He loved, you know, here's the thing. The way I always thought of John, the way I played him always was, not only did he, because I didn't know any of the stuff that we've learned in the last 10 years, no one sat down with me and said, hey, John has another kid, John sucked at raising his sons. Like, that wasn't part of the foundation of John Winchester when I got the job, nor when I played him. So I remember the first convention I ever did, everybody's all mad at me. I mean, all you people were just like, words with F, a lot. And I was like, well, what the hell happened there? It's a guy that died for his kids. All he wanted to do was be with them. His wife gets killed, he goes insane, which is kind of what I'd do if something happened to my wife, you know? And then we find out over the last 10 years, you guys all found out because I've been busy, I don't know. It's hard to watch 13 years of a TV show in a weekend with a 7-year-old bouncing on your face. That's why we need to get John to come back. I think there's differing stories. I think depending on the year and the season and the writers and the producers, it'd be nice for John to get back at some point and figure this out with his two kids. Because I always think, and I will go to my grave, John Winchester loves his boys. Yeah. Yeah, no, obviously he dropped the ball in a couple places, but you know, we're talking about like demons and stuff. You drop the ball sometimes when there's some demons after you. I didn't even see you guys over here. I suck. I'm like taking questions from the longest question person in the world. And meanwhile, probably got some awesome questions from Snapchat over here.
Hello again.
Hi.
So now that I've been christened Snapchat, my question is kind of silly and simple. What's your favorite Snapchat filter?
I don't know. I only know that I've seen that. I thought that little thing was like a Instagram thing.
It could be. I don't know about it.
Yeah. Look, I'm old and new to this whole social media thing. I've been on Twitter for like a year, Instagram for like a couple months. And it's really fun because I can just show you guys like my asses at home, my little donkeys. In real life, my donkeys. And my cows, and I can, you know, put pictures of my kids sneezing mid-photo. All the stuff that's gonna haunt me when he gets a little bit older and figures out that his dad's kind of, you know, taking the piss out of him. Like, he thinks it's funny now. Wait until he's 15. Dad! Can't believe you did that.
You gonna print it out, show his first significant other?
Did I what?
Gonna print him out, show his first significant other?
Something about a significant other.
Are you gonna print them out, show them to his first significant other?
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? I tell him every day, that's gonna haunt you, dude. Every day he does something ridiculous, and I'm like, oh, Daddy is gonna remember that. Go ahead, bring your girl home. I got slides. Remember when people had slides? I just totally fucking aged myself. Slides, I'll be up there with a little projector. Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Oh, dude. You know, every single day there's something that I see in my kid. You know, he's at a really, if you got kids, he's at a really special age now. Like in the last year, I don't know, he just has, he's always been an awesome kid. I mean, I think we all say that about our respective, well, some of you don't, but I get it. He's just always been a special kid, but in the last year, he's like gone from being this little kid to kind of a young man. And you know, because I am gone, I work a lot, and it sucks for my wife and for him, but he has kind of taken it upon himself to be, you know, the man of the house type of thing when I'm not around, and he's just a spectacular kid. Some of you may know, but we're having another baby. I know, I'm old and that shit still works. That was exactly the same reaction my wife had. Just as loud. We're very excited, but my thing is that Gus is so good that I got a feeling the new baby's gonna fucking be my karma. Like, I mean, I'm like, this is, you know, Gus is so, it's gonna be bad. Like, I think she's just gonna come out torturing me. Like, I'm scared of her already. Oh, did I just? Oh, my wife is gonna be so happy. Don't tell anybody.
Delete those tweets.
So, by the way, having a girl. So you see where karma's gonna get me now, right? Like triple. Shit, I can't believe I did that. It's so like me to fuck stuff up, but I like this morning was like, don't worry, baby. I'm not that dumb. I'm gonna get so yelled at. How's what?
We made you do it.
Yeah, you guys twisted my arm. They were asking really tricky questions.
You know,
she tripped me up with like the whole John backstory thing.
You know, I'm gonna have to step in here. Your wife called creation and said to drag you off stage. They said to cut you off, turn your mic off, you're in trouble, and you need to go home now.
I'm done.
Yep.
And it ends.
That's what they said.
It began for a second.
Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just relaying.
And then it ended. I do have to catch a plane, you guys. I got to be at work at 4:30 in the morning. And since I told you that I'm having a little girl, I'm also killing the cast of The Walking Dead in the morning. All of them. Thank you very much. You guys are awesome.
Big round of applause for the man. Please give it up for the man himself.